I could remember. Sometime I could sit down and remember from way back.
Right.
Very good.
Right.
Better than I can do now.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime I could sit down and remember better than I think I could remember from way back, better than I can do sometime I could sit down and remember better than I think I could remember from way back, better than I can do now. I could sit down.
Sometime I could sit down and remember from way back.
Right.
Very good.
Right.
Better than I can do now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I may say something today or see something today or somebody may tell me something and it goes out.
Memory. Sometimes I could sit down and remember better than I think I could remember. From way back, better than I can do now.
Better than I can do now. Better than I can do now.
I may say something today, or see something today, or somebody may say something, and it goes out.
Or somebody may say something, and it goes out.
The South Sumter Resource Center is a flat-roofed, converted supermarket building that has been made into a wonderful complex where people come to get served by the community. It's an African-American community that lives around it. Old people and young people come there for tutoring, for classes, for meetings, and so on. This is a place that I come to all the time. We're here in front of the center, and I'm retracing the steps of the journey that led to the writing of Wisteria. It was here at the center that I interviewed these African-American men and women, these older folk who told me their stories, which led to the poems, which would eventually lead to the music that you just heard from the South Sumter Resource Center. So it's always great to come back here because it's like coming home, and then it's always great because it's full of stories, and it is stories that have driven me and led to what we now call Wisteria.
My grandchildren say to me, Amma, are you going to let her pass you? So white mama driving, right? They've been passing me long enough. I have been riding behind you or walking behind you for years, for eons, or ever since we were here. I don't go behind you anymore.
Wisteria. Circumspect woman, you carry your memories tied up in a lipstick-stained kerchief in a worn straw basket. When you undo the knot, the scent of wisteria, thick with the nausea of nostalgia, fills the closed-in room. You lean into the microphone, smile at the turning tape, while fingering the fading petals.
Okay, to begin with, my daddy was renting from a white man on the plantation, and I knew they were white. And I guess subconsciously, or maybe listening to Mama and Daddy talk, or to their expression, or what they did not say, I knew that we were different.
You intone your history, breathing in the muggy scent of wayward love. Your anger is always a whisper, enigmatic, almost unspoken, just a steady heat. I don't like 'em. I never did. I never could.
And I never did.
I can't say it.
I never liked them. And to this day, I cannot stand them. And I think mostly it has to do with the the older I got, the more history.
Rosalie Richardson.
Because they wouldn't let us alone in Africa where we were, and then gonna break us and chain us and all this kind of crap. Thank God they didn't chain me, but anyway, even that gave me a aversion to them.
I ain't free and never will be. Take my baby home.
I would go by the YMCA, and I could hear the children playing in the swimming pool. And I would tarry along there and just smile, and they smile and laugh, wishing I could go in there. I didn't know why I couldn't go in there, other than one reason. I thought Mama didn't have enough money to pay for my going in there. But that wasn't the reason. I learned later that was the color of the skin was the cause of my not going in there. But I've always wanted to play in the YMCA pool.
Ruby Talton.
But it never happened until I was 72. And the Y gave a lesson to anybody who wanted to learn how to swim. And that's when I learned how to swim, at 72. Then I got a chance to go into the Y and play in that water.
Can you recall at any point growing up when you first became aware of that your life is different as a black person living in this society?
Okay, when we was going to school in the country, we had to walk to school 5 miles every day.
Ethel England Jones.
We had to walk. The white kids are in the yellow bus going to school.
We had no buses, and often the children would come to school soaking wet.
Mrs. Saunders.
Where the white children had riding the buses. The bus driver would go into the pool, the puddle of water, splash them, and wet them up. So some of our time was spent in drying the children off and getting them calmed down and talking with them.
I ain't free and never will be. Take my baby home.
When I arrived in Sumter in 1992 to this little town here, the first experience for me was to go into to the south side of Sumter. That is the side where it was traditionally the African American community and continued to be the African American community. I went down to the South Sumter Resource Center, and I started to volunteer to write grants for them and so on. I really had a wonderful time of meeting the African American community, which was necessary for me because I was teaching at a school that was a predominantly white school. In other words, I was one of maybe 2 black faculty in the entire school. And for me, coming as I was from Ghana and Jamaica, coming out of a strong political sensibility, I'm the reggae guy and so on, it just didn't make sense to come to this town and not be a part of the African American community, which I think was skeptical about me because they wondered why I was teaching in this white school. So the work that I did in Sumter at the South Sumter Resource Center was a welcoming. When Lana Odom welcomed me and made this trip over this bridge where the tracks are running under us, to come there in the days, and we would have fried fish with this wonderful crazy woman who sold her fried fish just a few chains from the resource center. This hot fried fish sandwich right over there. And that was the nourishment. And I would sit down and meet all the black community and feel a part of this space and a part of this home. So this resource center became a grounding for me at a time when I felt I was in an alien place, which was America. And then I began the long lesson of what it means to be African American in these times and here in the South, which is not something that something you think you know about by watching Eyes on the Prize or watching Roots and all of that. But once you get there, you realize that the most striking thing about the African American presence here, it's its Africanness, but also that the skills that they had to learn to live in a repressive environment were skills that do not look like skills on the surface. But after a while, you begin to realize that the quietness, the politeness, the subtlety of expression, the carefulness of movement and so on, which were still present in 1992, were part of the way in which people managed to survive in South Carolina. And they taught me a lesson about the various ways in which resistance takes place and the various ways in which survival takes place.
I went to the supervisor's room, house rather, and you had to go to the back door, of course. His wife saw me at the back door. She was ironing, and she looked at me. Then she turned and said to her husband, "There's a woman out here." She knew my name well. She knew me. She didn't invite me in her house. She didn't use my name. And when she said it, it was condescending. And so he came out. I swallowed it real hard.
My mother was never a person to talk about segregation to us. That's why I didn't know why I couldn't go in the Y.
Right.
And she never explained that to us. But as I grew older, I could see the difference. You could go into a store. At this time, they didn't have cash and carry.
Right.
You would have to stand up to give your order and wait till the man fix it for you. If I was standing up there waiting for him to fix me, a white lady or a white person come in, I'd be standing right up there right alone. And that went on for years and years, but what could we do?
All of the black people, it was Mrs. this and Mr. that, and anybody older than us, black, Mrs. this, Mrs. that. We had a lot of manners in those days. But those white women was Mr. this and Mrs. that too. It wasn't Massa this or Massa that, like wait. And to me it was a different Mrs. this and Mrs. that. And I think that stayed with me.
One day I will come to the river. Oh, one day I will come to the river. Oh, love will touch the skin. Love will touch the skin.
Skin. This skin is leather black with time. This skin is tough like old rooster flesh. This skin won't give like poulet. You bite this skin, you're likely to eat crow. This skin has wailed its own symphony of blue-black sorrow, tough like this. This skin tasted the salt crystals, licked them up and recorded the pain. This skin's been turned inside out, left to dry. This skin swallowed the blast of sun, collected the bite of January air, and still there, still there. This skin has smelled the acrid smoke of burning flesh, hanging there against a new day, sniffed it, felt its layering of old skin, soot carrying centuries of suffering. This skin is washed with flow of menstrual blood, love juice, old semen, bitter spit, loose shit, every ugliness dumped into the earth, been through this skin. This is no tenderloin, prime cut skin. You bite me, you're likely to eat crow. This skin is a walk-in museum. When you see me coming, read me. When you see me coming, read me. One day, I will come to the river. Oh, love will touch this skin and I will rise, ebony glow and tender, crossing that river to the other side. I didn't plan to write poems at all. I was struck immediately by the fact that people were walking up and down in Sumter talking to me who were in their 70s and in their 80s, which meant that they had lived in the middle, in the heart of Jim Crow. They had lived when lynchings were going on. They had lived before we even spoke about a civil rights movement in a real way. And they had in them these stories and these memories. And I kept saying to myself, if they have these stories and these memories, why haven't I heard them, or why can't I hear them? And it seemed to me such an opportunity to just find out how people were dealing with that period in the present. In other words, how did they reconcile it and so on? So it was purely a question of curiosity.
My name is Lana Odom, and I'm the director of the South Sumter Resource Center.
So when you asked the people if they were interested, what was their response in doing these?
Most of them were delighted to do it.
Yeah.
They wanted to talk about their struggle, especially in the days when everything was segregated,
right,
and how difficult it was, and some of the trials and tribulations that they went through. And
I knew it wasn't supposed to be like that, colored water and white water, all that kind of stuff. I remember one lady said, "Oh, I don't like to drink colored water. I want white water." she said, "But you can't drink that." Well, she said, "But I don't like colored water."
They wanted to relate that. And I think it's important not only for them to do it, but also for our children and their children to hear about it, because there's no other way that they would know. Our history is mostly oral, right?
Right.
So these interviews were they were just so important to the people, and everybody who talked to you, they were so thrilled at doing it.
Yeah. And I remember one of the other things that struck me was that almost all of them said they really hadn't talked about a lot of this stuff.
No, they told you some things that we didn't know. We never knew. Including my mom. Some things that she never related to us. I mean, I was surprised.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Were you born in Sumter?
Yes. In Sumter County.
Right.
And I am known as one of the Tornator children. I was born 1924, and during that time, that year, in April, a tornado came through and tore up everything, killed everybody, and everything happened. And I came here September of that year. And I'm very afraid of storms, lightning and thunderstorms.
So I began the interviews with that element of interest and curiosity, and they responded with this wonderful largesse of so much to say and so much to express, and a kind of amusement at my interest and my desire to find out more.
There was cotton. There was something known as millet. And we just stripped that, and that made the syrup. Go to a mill and cook and made the syrup. Okay, the corn, from the corn, shell it in the barn, and it made the grits and the meal. And after everybody had gathered all of their crops, the potatoes was dug and put into banks. Do you know about that? You know? You bag potatoes?
To bag them.
What?
Put into bags, you said.
Yeah, bank potatoes. Oh, yes? How?
Well, you tell me. You said you're taking the potatoes and you put them into...
Banks.
Bags?
Bank, B-A-N-K.
B-A-N-K?
Yes,
oh, banks.
Yes.
No.
You don't know? Okay, good. Okay, time to dig the potatoes. You would go into the woods and rake up pine straw. A lot of pine straw and take to the house, right? Then they had like a pin. Now, you would put the potatoes down, cover them with the straw. Come up like a mound, cover them with the straw. After they're covered with the straw, maybe about this thick, then put dirt on it. And the sweet potatoes would stay there for the winter for the family to eat. Banking potatoes. That's how that was done.
Banking. In the cold season, we bank love like potatoes, cashing in on them when the wind whips sorrow like the bitter leaf of purging. Mama pulls from the mounds of straw the firm yellowness of sustenance. Then boiling the skinned flesh in the pot, she offers us her love. It is all memory now, this other life, when cold rattled our bones and love was the predictability of daily bread, the quench of river water. We have buried their bodies in the swamp earth, among the pine needles and dark loam. I offer songs at the grave, like love proffered.
Sometime I could sit down and remember better than I think I could remember from way back.
The school districts were not only fully segregated, the school districts provided absolutely nothing for us other than the building. One of the men who lived near my mother was the trustee of what was then District 8. And he told my mother that he had a job for me, but there was no room. And if she could get somebody to build a room, I would have the job. The parents would sometimes haul loads of wood to the school. So the men of my community got together and they built a room on Rafton Creek School, and that was my first job.
Jim Crow was a system of laws instituted primarily to repress any progress that blacks were making, because it was predicated on the idea that if blacks had success, it would be at the expense of white success. And one of the most pernicious ways in which this was done, it was in the area of education, where it was presumed that if blacks wanted to have an education, they would have to find the means to have that education themselves. And if there was any gift given to blacks for their education, it would be only after the white population was looked after properly. So in the midst of this, the capacity of the black community, individuals, to first build these one-room schoolhouses out in the woods, in the bush, and then for the children to be pushed and encouraged by their parents to walk sometimes 5 miles, sometimes 8 miles each way to go to school, and to do that in the face of a clear sense from the larger white community that this was not valuable or this was not important. For me, that was one of the most powerful and moving truths about the work that was done during the civil rights period. So this poem is called Schoolhouse. Nothing fancy, never fancy. Every board counted, every nail, every bench, every piece of shingle, nothing fancy, just love. The hands of men with nothing but hope in their fingers tenderly grew this school from the swamp's soft earth. There, under the canopy of ancient trees, grew this sanctuary for learning, a school where once there was bush. And the children came soaked to the bone with morning rain, and the discriminating splatter of mud by the wheels of the yellow school buses, ferrying the white children to their brick edifice where they learned difference. And we would wait with towels to ready them, shaken but not broke, to learn. There's nothing here, and here is a germ of possibility. The wind wailed late in 1942, and we trembled at the fate of the temple, while we held up the walls of our homes, straining against the blast outside. In the early morning, when all was calm, we walked with tools, timber, and fearful hearts into the dense madness of the swamp, to find the school standing tall, miraculously saved from the howl and the crash of old rotting trees. And come Monday morning, the children came, faces aglow with new hope, new hope.
So we had 2 children. I always wanted my children to be educated. We didn't have any money. My husband didn't make much money. But if I had a quarter, I would try to save a nickel out of that quarter. And to show you how silly and how foolish I was when I first got married, I'd go out of the house and put it in a can under the house. Pennies, dimes, no quarters, pennies. The biggest thing was a dime. Nickels, pennies, and dimes, and that coffee can. In the chimney under the house. I'd crawl under there and put it there, because I always wanted to, I never wanted not to have anything. I wanted to always feel it. I can get something if I wanted it. So that's my way of trying to get things what I want by saving pennies. So when the children got about 3 or 4 years old, they were playing, and they went in the house and they found my bank. Mother, we found a can under the house, and nothing but pennies and nickels and dimes. I said, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now? I have to move it. I said, you do want children? I said, that's your mama's bank.
We were given the used, soiled books that had been used by the whites. We were asked to clean those books. We had to use sandpaper and stuff and try to clean them again.
With sandpaper, we scraped the traces of their fingers, stains of their carelessness, memories of their rejection. We sandpapered like a ritual of love, making it clean, this learning in a one-roomed school. Hard to clean away a legacy of bland indifference. Once I scraped too deep. Beneath the color, I found white, the absence of meaning, a void of imagination, the white of leprosy like the bone-white skeleton of Anami. I hid the scar from the children's eyes.
In spite of all of the disadvantages, I have experienced some of the greatest rewards from some of those children who walked 5, 6 more miles to school and back.
It's been 12 years since I did those interviews, and for a while I had convinced myself that these poems were more invention than actual narratives that explored what people had said to me. And yet, when I've gone back to those transcripts, I realized the extent to which the rhythms of their language and the complexity of emotions were given to me as a gift. So my role as a poet was to find the poetic line within those articulations and to explore them.
When we were trying to get buses for our children, I remember one of the trustees said, as long as he lived, you'll never see a black child riding a school bus.
Yeah.
He lost his sight. He lost his sight. And we did get buses. So some of us said, well, he said he'd never see it, so he didn't see it.
He said those words, spat them out in my face. Not as long as I live will I see no colored child riding a school bus. Roosevelt looking down like God Almighty, and the flag curled in the corner. Well, he never saw them, those colored children, climbing onto the yellow bus, books in hand, and riding. But someone whispered it in his ear while he stared into the black. My mother said, never rejoice in the infirmities of others. Sometimes I let my mother down and commit sins of the soul. I'm singing this song for him and dancing on his grave. What you wish for, that's what you're gonna get.
I guess the older people's recreation then was each other. And each and every year or every year and a half, there was a new baby in the family. So maybe I'll say that was the recreation.
Okay, that's all right.
Okay, that was their recreation. So I started cooking at the age of 6 because when I was 6 years old, Mama and Dad had their 3rd child. Mom and Daddy had 11 children. The first 3 died, some 8 months, 6 months In fact, they were stillborn. I am number 4. I'm the first one to live. The next one lived. This one lived for a year and 7 months, and she died. And then to make up the 11.
Take my baby home. Take my baby home. I ain't free and never will be. Take my baby home.
I count those who died before they woke, those I cradled, caressed, cocooned to life, hoping beyond the weakness of their cries. They died too, leaving us with tough questions for God Almighty. Old black folk have buried so many babies in the bush behind the cotton groves, with the naked form of cotton bales standing like sentinel crucifixes against the stale blue of summer skies.
Take my baby home. Take my baby home.
And mother gathers her body and the tears, and builds new fires, cooks new meals, readies her womb to replenish its rooted self to make more brothers, sisters like second nature. She carries her mourning deep in her skin away to count the days. My mother bore 9 children. We chant this as a litany of her strength. 3 did not live to see the second year of her washed belly, washed soul, washed body, and she did not live to see her children. The thin film of her drying birth waters scraped off with a rough cloth as they laid her out to rest.
I ain't free. I ain't free. Take my baby home. I ain't free. I ain't free. I ain't free. Take my baby home.
I'm number 4. I'm a girl. The next was a girl. Mama had 3 girls before she had a boy. So Daddy made a boy out of me. And I got tired plowing. Hoeing cotton and picking cotton and the things the ladies did. I took off.
Full-bodied roses, pacing her body against July's heat.
One of the things I always knew was that within the poems was a wonderful opportunity for performance, largely because most of the voices are women's voices, and they're voices that are outside of me in some ways.
Sucking life from the giving soul, or soul she has nurtured for decades.
I remember meeting Kevin Simmons, who is a wonderful young composer. So I gave him the poems, and in 6 months he had composed this fantastic score.
The street is not what it was, but our eyes have seen worse. Now the boys look up, bold-faced, at day's end. She whispers to that man, long gone from this address.
It changed the way that I understood the poems. That's one of the most remarkable things about it. He helped me understand what I had written.
We are enthralled. She talks in pictures. We are enthralled.
The through line is that these stories have meaning and value and power.
Just the color of him in the sunset.
My name is Gwendolyn Birdie Ann Clyburn, and I'm housing coordinator at the South Sumter Resource Center.
I remember interviewing your mom, which was really an important interview. But did she say anything to you about the interview?
No.
She
Not one word. Not one word.
She didn't say anything at all. Say your mother's full name.
Her name is Ethel England Jones.
Right.
And she was born June 10th, 1914 in Mounts Corner, South Carolina.
Right.
And she actually was a beautician for a number of years, over 20 years, I would think. She was third grade, and her mother and father passed away. So she had to stop school and go to work so she can take care of her siblings.
Right.
And there were 9 children total. So she went to work, working in kitchens, whatever, in the fields, to take care and make sure that her siblings attend school. Mm-hmm. And then she moved away to New York.
I could remember, sometime I could sit down and remember from way back.
Right.
Very good.
Right.
Better than I can do now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The beautician thing was a big deal for her.
It was, and she loved it, working
Right.
in the beauty shop.
Right.
God don't like ugly. They say God don't like ugly. And those who make ugly pretty, they are the angels of God. Those who can take a shack, a low-down hole with a roof, and make you want to cry for the smell of mama's cooking, the love of days following days like a sweet loved baby girl, not fretting about nothing at all. They are the angels of God, those who make ugly pretty. So I ride through the low country, day in, day out to the coast, holding back the waves of sleep creeping up my legs like how death comes, just to learn how to make something prettier than what it was. Around here in Sumter County, we've got 2 kind of angels. Them that make the dead smile with powders, creams, lotions, resting in peace there, prettier than they ever was when walking this earth. And them that take complaining hair, dry back of the hand facial skin, and make that pretty as morning, pretty as a poem there in the salon. They are the angels of God. For God don't like ugly at all. Here in Sumter County, 2 things are sure. Folks will die their ugly deaths, and women lapping up the magazines won't ever feel pretty enough for love. Me? I'm too scared of the cold flesh that don't give back, don't move, so I caress the woman's jowls till all they can do is smile. Call me angel of the Lord, 'cause God don't like ugly. One of the interesting things about Sumter is that it falls within the pattern of many southern towns. The town is divided by tracks, and on one side of the track is where the black community lived, and then on the northern side of the track is where the white community would live. And so we've just gotten over the tracks, and now we are in the area where the white community used to live. Now it's very much mixed, integrated, for better or for worse.
The boys stare at the pandies like they're staring at red candies. Want to touch it, lick it, caress it, take it, own it. Never look at us that way. Never got sweet words to say. To simple-colored girls like us, who don't jitterbug, don't ride no horse, just work till our fingers are white.
In 1996, I for about 6 months, I started to do a commute from Sumter to Columbia. It's about 45 minutes. It was a distinctive period because I was driving for the first time. I never knew how to drive until then. And so I was trying to look at the road, the swampland, and it became a meditative period of traveling across this state to come to Columbia, where I am now. And here I am in my office in Columbia, the University of South Carolina. But for me, the meditations that were most important to me were thinking about the stories that these women told me. And in all of this, I'm carrying inside me what I've written about as a kind of legacy of family and place and understanding. South Carolina is not in many ways my home. I wasn't born here. I came here to work. But in the time I spent with these women, they embraced me, they welcomed me, they shared with me, they confided in me.
My grandchildren say to me, Amma, are you going to let her pass you? So white mama driving, right? They've been passing me long enough. I don't go behind you anymore.
They made me feel, as elders only can, at home. So that I call the people in South Carolina, but especially the people in Sumter, my people. And I want to keep collecting their stories. I will make this drive from here in Columbia, and I'll head on the highway, and it will take me straight across the swamplands and into Sumter, South Carolina, right by the Air Force Base. And then I'll be in the South Sumter Resource Center right on Manning Avenue. And one by one, the old folks will come in and they'll talk to me in the mic and they'll tell me the whole history, the memories of their lives. And I will be changed and transformed again and again out of it. I'm talking to Rosalie Richardson. Tomorrow is your birthday.
Yes.
And you don't mind telling me?
My 83rd will be 83.
Yes.
So things have been going pretty good so far. I'm still climbing Jacob's ladder, round by slowly round.
Yeah.
And thankfully.
That's good, that's good. For me, this is good life. This is what it means to find a point of home. And in that, I am grateful for these voices and for these people. Now, I'm going to ask you something. You're still driving, aren't you?
Yes, I drove up here.
You drove up here. You know what you told me? And let me tell you a story you told me when we had an interview.
Please remind me.
I'm going to remind you. This is what you told me. You said, you drive on the road, okay? And you don't mind if a black man passes you on the road. That's okay. You know, it's all right. If a white man passes you on the road, that's not a problem. But if a white man...
That's right. Because, see, they were passing me and passing us for years. So when I got in a position, you're not going to pass me.
So are you still doing that, Rosie?
I still do that.
Oh, dear.